Alright, welcome to the channel. Back again, looking at a new guitar this week. We're back at Pirate Studios where I did my last couple of videos, the Les Paul and the Jaguar versus Jazzmaster. That was about 3 months ago. I came in to film them. So now we're back because Pirate just keep giving me money off deals. So I thought I'd come in here. Before we get into this, please like the video, please subscribe to the channel, please drop me a comment of things you like or don't like or whatever. When I did the last couple, I did a little plea for a few more subscribers, and since then, although it was 3 months, it's gone up about 45–50%. So thanks to any new subs, and if you're not subscribed, please do. So what I've been doing recently, if you check back, you'll see, is trying to get a video done of all my guitars. So you'll be able to see on the channel the yellow Submarine Strat, the Jazzmaster, my Jaguar, the Les Paul, and this is sort of the lost guitar that I never did, and this has been sat in its case for 4 or 5 years. It's quite an interesting story about it, but basically, yeah, it's been sat in its case for a long time because playing wise it was a lump of crap, even though it sounds pretty good. But finally, I recently got in touch with, I went to my local guitar shop, Harmonix, who set up my Jaguar for me. And I said, look, I've had this guitar a long time, but it's just always been crap. There was frets sprouting, the neck was all over the place. And they got it set up. I'm looking at the bag where it's written on what was done with it. It's got, yeah, set up, put 10s on it. And I got it back and it is a completely different guitar. So I thought finally I can demo this guitar. So what it is, if I point it at B-cam, it's a Washburn. It's a Washburn HB32DM. And basically what it is a 335 ripoff, as you can see. It's got a center block down here. So HB, I guess, is hollow body, you know, semi-hollow. 32, who knows. DM is distressed matte. So the we'll get close-ups on it, but all the hardware come distressed, so they look kind of aged. And the matte M is for matte. It's like a matte or sort of satin finish guitar. But it's really cool looking. So the story of this guitar, I actually bought it in March 2008. I can always double check exactly when I bought it, because what happened is I won some money on a football game and I was never actually any good at gambling. I don't think I really gambled very much after that because it's a mugs game, don't do it. But a stopped clock is right twice a day. So the one, or you know, the one and only probably time I won a bit of money, I won about £170 on a football game, and that's pretty much exactly how much this was. So which gives you an idea of quite how affordable or shaffordable these Washburn guitars certainly were. I even found the email before. It was £176.98, including £7.99 shipping. So it was less than 170 quid brand new. But I just liked the look of it, and it was cheap, and you know, I didn't know as much about guitars, if I know anything now. Back then I just thought that looks cool, and sort of my inspiration, I guess, for wanting a guitar like this was stuff like Dave Grohl's Trini Lopez, or Chris Cornell playing 335s with Soundgarden, or maybe like Kings of Leon or something. I wanted like a hollow body, cool looking 335 guitar, but that I could play heavy rock riffs on. So I bought this, and the first one that came, the wiring was broke and one of the pickups wouldn't work, so I had to send it back, which should have been a sign of quite how shoddily put together these guitars sometimes are. But the second one came back and it was okay, but it sounded sort of woolly. I guess Washburn make these for kind of blues and jazz players. So for me to kind of take it and put it through a dirty amp and want to play rock riffs on it, it wasn't happy. So I got the pickups changed at that point to Gibson Burst Bookers, which later once the Dave Grohl SIG Trini Lopez came out. Turns out he has the same pickup configuration, but I didn't know this then. I don't think it existed. So this is a Gibson Burst Booker 2, and this is a Gibson Burst Booker 3. Someone will tell me when they were released, but I think March 2008, they were pretty new. And all I knew was the 3 was the hottest one, the 2 was the middle one, and the 1 was the kind of the softest one. So I put a 2 in the neck and a 3 in the bridge. And I think at the time, I must have sent it to the guy who put the pickups in and said, get it set up, get it playing nice. And I don't think he ever did, but I didn't notice at that time. One thing I did get changed, and again, I'll demonstrate this on B-Cam, is when you buy a Washburn HB32DM, or when you did, the pickup selector was here. And what I found is when I had it on a low-strung strap, trying to be a big rock star, and I was playing it, I would just hit the pickup switch. So when I took it in for the pickup change, I asked him, I said, can you add a switch here for the pickups? Leave that one there, just disconnect it, which if you don't know is a James Hetfield thing to make sure you don't change your pickups. And he said, yeah, okay, I'll put the pickup switch there. I'll add a switch here. I'll leave that one there and disconnect it. I'll change the pickups and do a setup. Well, he definitely changed the pickups. But when I went to pick it up, he said, oh, what I've done instead is I've put a little circle of wood in there and I've kind of matched it to the finish. So it looks better, I think. And again, if I go to B-Cam, you can kind of see that little circle there. Now, at the time, I was like, in my head, but that's not what I asked for. I wanted a switch there, but I'm far too young and timid and went, okay, thank you. But now I don't mind it. I think I like the stories behind guitars, and I kind of like that this has a bit of character. But if anybody out there does repair guitars, please do what you're asked to do. Don't just make that decision on behalf of a guitar owner. This guy did. But I guess, you know, we'll forgive him because I like it now. So if we have a quick look at the spec, I'll just check my notes. It's a mahogany body and a mahogany top. I'm trying to get this captured well in either camera, although we do close-ups. Mahogany top. It's got binding, obviously, around the sides. It's got binding in the F-holes. Distressed hardware. Stop tailpiece and tune-o-matic bridge. It's, as I said, a 335 rip-off. It's also got a mahogany neck. Over there, and a rosewood fingerboard. It's a 24.75 scale length. And yeah, it's a cheap guitar, and the pickups that are in this guitar are worth more than this guitar, let's be honest. But what I found is when I changed the pickups, it did sound really, really good, but it didn't play particularly well. But at that time, I was playing in more of a little metal band, but kind of down-tuned sludge sort of stuff. So it was in drop C sharp. There is a riff. Sometimes if I open a video without me playing guitar, I tend to use a riff from that old band. So the riff, that was recorded on this guitar with these pickups. So at that time in that band, you know, you're in drop C sharp. You're just playing down here all the time. You don't have to worry about up here. And then later when I joined sort of cover bands and pub bands and tried to play sort of normal songs, I would find that notes were choking out and the frets were all over the place, and I was just like, this guitar is not playable for most stuff. So it went in the case and sort of didn't come back out until very recently. As I say about the build, and again I'll try and get close-ups of this, but it's so kind of thrown together. You can see on the neck how many parts they are. So you'd think Washburn was trying and kind of cover this of how many just bits of wood they've thrown together for the neck. But you can kind of see how different, I know there's shine from a light on that, how different those two kind of bits of wood are. Down by the heel, let's take this off if I can. There we go. Down by the heel of the neck, you can kind of make out all the different pieces of wood that have gone into that as well. So it looks pretty shoddy, but as I say, the top and the back, they look cool, I think. So let's play it a little bit. I should have opened, hopefully, with a Black Crowes riff. Now, I have a friend of mine, Mike, who watches all the videos. Hi, Mike. I am desperate to get him on the channel because he's actually really good on guitar. And he tends to post or message whenever I post a new video, why haven't you done a Black Crowes riff? So I thought I'd throw one in, but they're all in open G tuning pretty much. So since I got this guitar set up, it's pretty much been an open G tuning. So what we'll do to begin with is throw in a load of Black Crowes riffs for Mike and for my entertainment. And then we'll get it into standard tuning, and we'll try a bit of Soundgarden and Foo Fighters and things. That was, as I say, the inspiration for like a 335 sort of shaped guitar, but with overdriven pickups and rock sounds and things like that. So what are we doing? Clean. We're in the Blackstar HT Club 40 dirty channel, but with the drive turned all the way down. And yeah, open G, include the bottom string. Bridge pickup, Gibson Burst Booker 3. Neck pickup, Burst Booker 2. And in the middle position, both pickups. And I have brought with me the Epiphone Les Paul, which I'm going to do a little comparison very briefly later on, which sort of seems crazy to try and compare a Les Paul to a 335 type guitar. But if you watch the Les Paul video, the only reason I brought it is the pickups in my Les Paul are Epiphone Pro Bookers, which are based on the Gibson Burst Bookers. So I want to try and capture both pickups playing a similar riff and see what that sounds like. But let's add a little dirt. So with the drive side of the Comfortably Plum, I'm struggling a bit to set up to get the amp to sound good. So if it doesn't sound perfect, you know, sorry, I'm trying to do this quickly with dodgy gear. But so that's the drive side of the Comfortably Plum. So bridge pickup. Neck pickup. Middle position. So let's try and throw in a couple more Black Crowes riffs from my mate Mike and the rest of you in the neck pickup. So that took a few goes to try and capture that. It reminded me that there is still one issue that I'll probably never sort out now, and I don't think it's something that could have been sorted in the setup, you know, too easily. But the high E string is just that little bit too far down, too far over. So if I'm trying to grab that note, I was missing it or not catching it properly. But I don't know. It's all over the place, but that's just maybe the one issue. Let's try another one. Okay, so we tuned it back up, but almost back in standard. We've gone to drop D. And I'm playing it through the 1991 by Funny Little Boxes going into the MXR micro amp. So as I said earlier on, I think the inspiration to want a big semi-hollow guitar and play heavy riffs on it was things like Dave Grohl and Chris Cornell. So let's try some Soundgarden. We'll say at this point, I'm dealing with a dodgy cable. It's not a dodgy jack in the guitar. It's the cable if there's any extraneous noise. So that sounds pretty good for Black Hole Sun. Let's try and get heavier. The gain was pretty low, well, pretty much off there on the 1991. So turn up gain 1 and gain 2 to about 9 o'clock. And again, that's going through the MXR micro amp. Got gain 1 now at about 12 o'clock. So I think it does that, right? It does heavy Soundgarden stuff. pretty cool sounds in it. So what's left? Dave Grohl, see if we'll play some Foo Fighters stuff. So there's a few sounds out of it. I think I achieved what I set out for, which was to have a kind of 335 shaped guitar that I could play heavy riffs on. Obviously, the more gain you use, the closer you are to your amp, you're going to have feedback issues. I have in the past stuffed foam in here with black card on top. But you know, you just learn how to deal with these things, I guess. So very quickly, before the end of the video, I just want to play the Les Paul and then compare it to the Washburn, just tone by tone, without changing the amp settings or any of the pedals. Okay, so bridge pickup just through the amp. What am I going to play? Neck pickup. Middle position. Bridge position. Neck position. Middle position. Well, at this point, something I should have mentioned before, we cut the sound to the amp. I don't know how well this mic's going to pick that up, but obviously with it being a semi-hollow body with the mahogany plank down the middle, it's obviously louder than a, well, we'll compare it now, than other electric guitars. Now a bit of a dirty sound will compare the Pro Booker and the Burst Booker, but you know, it's not like for like, obviously. Bridge pickup. Neck. middle. Some power chord. Okay, burst buckers and bridge position. Neck. Middle. Middle. So, I was just about to finish, I haven't even played any fuzz. You see the high E problem. Okay, so I'll stop now. Thanks for watching this week's video. Let me know in the comments what you think about this guitar. As I say, it's like as cheap can be when I bought it. But I think, you know, the pickups and the little change just give it a bit of character. I think it does sound good. It's never going to be a #1 guitar, but at the same time, I don't know if would ever really sell it. It's just a cool part of my collection, I think. So let me know in the comments if you like the guitar, if you like the video. Let me know what you think of this setting. I might be going back to doing some videos at home soon, but if you like me coming into kind of studios to do these videos, let me know. There's a tip jar in the comments if you want to chuck a pound in towards the next video. So please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.